Yeah, Close the doors, walk across the corridor. We got something to show you. Media is our repertoire. Fed up with the same news, no channel to use. Cruise control mentalities, here we offer you. We gon' show you a new way. The content, it never strays from positive and uplifting. Once a week, the scope gifted. With the presence of your eyes, what a distraction. Beautiful to soul, especially in action. This year, not ration. Came in abundance. Films like in Sundance. Tech like the pop art. Tachi Queen, you are Curtis, a beast heart. You must carry, cause MCs they all vary and seldom do what they motivate. World full of hate, we serve the hope on a plate across different platforms. Let's hear a buffet, hydration like Boucher. Don't focus on a day, we always here for you. MediaScope when you emotionally broke. Settled in our knowledge and conversations, go make them yours. What we run is Olympic, now your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. MediaScope when you emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, go make them yours. What we run is Olympic, now your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. Now you award winner with no award tours. This culture meets the art. Podcast with the heart and essence of the growth. The power's in the people. Without you, we ain't equal. What we lack is ego. We're back now, so here we go. Run the show like Arsenio. Episodic, our rituals, minds change through visual. Representation of our nation and its differences. Some explanation of our uniqueness and innocence. Mass media's intention is to desensitize. We raise the wise and knowledge is power. Without it, we turn coward and proud of a known product. Like we could take it with us. I wish the greats were still alive and here with us, but it is what it is. We're left here to share our gift, and that's precisely what we'll do with it. Shape shift and fluidly, we can pass this test and still in our unity, elevating through stress. Yes, MediaScope when you emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, go make them yours. What we run is Olympic, not your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. MediaScope when you emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, go make them yours. What we run is Olympic, not your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. It's up to you. You got the torch now. MediaScope. We here for you, and you. We got it all. Tech, pop, music. We got it all. Tech, pop, music. We got it all. Yeah. 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 Tech, pop, music. We got it all. We got it all. We got it all. Tech, pop, music.
Thank you for that, MC Curtis. Folks, welcome to another week, riveting edition of everybody's favorite. We are a podcast, but we're also a live stream. We're a show. This is MediaScope, all things media, tech, and pop culture. It happens every week at 6 p.m. Eastern time on all the platforms we're about to tell you about in a few. But it's not just me, Tachi. I am a media professor, filmmaker, media content producer, also a journalist. It is also you all. And thank you for being here. We're going to greet some of you in just a moment. And a one person behind the scenes that, like a cat on a keyboard, is pressing buttons. That would be MC Curtis. MC, what's going on?
Hey, what's happening with you?
No, not much. What's happening with you?
I'm doing okay. I like your hat, though.
My hat?
Yeah, nice.
Thank you. Well, you know, I am a hat person. Hats are my thing. So whenever I see a good hat, I never met a good hat that I didn't like. Now there's some damn ugly hats, but I like a good hat. I've
Right.
seen some hats and like what what a haberdasher is actually a person who makes hats. What haberdasher came up with this concept? And one of my favorite things, like I love fedoras,
Hmm.
but now they have to be different fedoras because what has happened is that everybody has jumped on the fedora bandwagon.
Right.
Um, there's some particular reasons why, and of course, it's an homage. There's certain people that wear fedoras all the time. They became really popular during the quarantine, and people saw them all the time, and they started to do the same thing. But meanwhile, I had been wearing fedoras for a while, and not that other people can't, but I don't like to look like everybody else, and so I need to. If I have a fedora now, it's got to be different. It cannot be like what everybody else has. If I could look at it and tell where it's from, I don't want it.
I thought you were going to say that you started your own fedora collection.
You know what? Don't laugh or sneeze. I do actually want to start a hat collection. You all know that I've had a t-shirt line since like 2010. Hats are not that far. It's not that much of a
Right.
stretch. So,
Absolutely.
and I actually want to take a class, two classes I want to take. I know this is off the topic, but when are we ever on topic? There are two classes I want to take. I want to take a hat making class and I want to take a shoe making class. And I've seen both. There's a class where you can learn to make shoes as well. I would love to make a pair of my own shoes.
Wow. You
So,
know, I've
yeah.
seen some videos of people making shoes, and I guess the person who, what do you call it, the cobbler, the person who makes the shoes, they made it look so easy. You
I,
know,
but it's not as easy as
yeah,
they make it
absolutely,
look.
absolutely.
It's fine. And I think I told you this before that I really am into processes. I can't stand the whispering ASMR. It drives me up the wall. But I love the ASMR that is like somebody making shoes and somebody. So there's one channel on YouTube called Vetiver that I watch, and this person cleans shoes and cleans purses and then also makes them. It is the most relaxing thing ever. So if you want to fall asleep, I'm telling you, watch these channels.
Interesting. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. What do you call it? ASMR.
Yeah, ASMR.
Yeah, I've been kind of thinking about that. What could I, what could I say? What could I, eat behind the scenes or something?
Like crunching potato chips. Would that be your ASMR?
Right,
You already do that on this show. You're with your ice cubes and stuff.
right, right.
You're already a one-stop ASMR.
Yeah. So
So anyway, let's greet some folks. Dr. Tawana is here and she says, "Hey there. How are you, Dr. Tawana?" She also greets you. We have a lot of doctors in the house too. Dr. Tarla Toomer is here as well. My good friend from the Tubing of the YouTube is here. Susan Angles and says, "Hope we are staying well." Oh, we are staying beyond well, my friend. And Dr. Tawana says she'd wear my fedoras. Well, thank you. So, I'm going to check into it. I do. I like all kinds of hats, not like jester hats and stuff, but I like different types of hats. So it would
yeah,
be different types of hats.
Dr. Tawana, she would probably rock it really nice too, because she's got that nice little
She would.
mohawk that she wears, and yeah,
Yes. And she has a small head.
mm-hmm, yeah, look really nice on her.
So yes. So, she wouldn't have to do too much of adjusting. But there are some people that, despite how big the hole for the hat is, it just sits on top of their head
I know, right?
because their head is too big. But nothing wrong with having a big head. Just more for us to learn from you.
Yeah, that's
But,
funny.
ironically, because of my hair, I end up needing to go up a size because
I
of
was
my
gonna
hair.
say,
So,
you got a lot of hair, so because even with my locks, I'm like, because I have some hats too, and I like wearing hats from time to time, but I'd have to get a new collection of hats just to.
Yeah, because the hair will do it.
Right.
So for
Right.
those of you that have a lot of hair, you have locks or just a lot of hair in general, like there's certain hats that I have to kind of like wear flat twists or something in order, or put it back in a
Mm.
ponytail so that I have space. But yeah, so those are things that you have to contend with. Hair problems. It's a good problem to have. I'll say that. Guess who is
Nice.
here?
Hey, Serena, how you doing, girl?
I don't hear any. Okay, that's what I was waiting for. And mhm, that's what I was waiting for. I need you to be on the ball, sir. She got here 10 years ago. Anyway.
So you're trying to make me not be nice. I'm being nice to Serena.
I'm not doing anything. That's just your natural mode of behavior, your modus operandi. That's exactly what you want to do. I have nothing to do with it, sir. Please don't blame me for your ill behavior. Please. Nadine is also here, and she says hello to all of us. And okay, well, I do have a gripe myself. She said, FB foolishness. They didn't even say we were live. Well, I had a problem. Sometimes, let me just give, before we get into things, because we have a lot to cover today. Sometimes the simple recipe, the original Coke is the best. Remember that whole thing, guys, where it was they had they changed the recipe of Coke back in, I think it was the 80s, right, or the 90s, and people were like, oh, I just remember I was little and I was watching, and it was a whole thing on the news. So they changed the recipe of Coca-Cola, and then they were like, new Coke. they were like, house way. And then Coke said classic Coke. But by then the damage was done. I mean, people forget about it now, but back then it was like, oh, no, you don't. Why would you change the recipe? Who did you ask? Where did you do a taste test?
It was a lot of fanfare. I absolutely remember that. It was a lot of fanfare behind that debacle. Yeah, it was horrible.
It was horrible. And the big lesson there is brand identity and keeping true to your brand. Sometimes, and this is for all of us, right? Sometimes we think people want things.
Right.
Or we get told that people want things. And so based off of a small amount of people, like 10 people say, oh, you should do X, Y, Z. Oh, well, then I'll do it. Did you survey the entire population of people that could possibly be affected? No.
Right.
You asked 2 people and went with it. So social scientific research is a real thing. Before you go making sweeping changes to your brand, whether it's the product, the brand identity, the look, ask enough people, right? And then ask yourself, do I really need to? Why am I making this change? Am I just doing it because I'm bored with it? Do we need a refresh? What is the reason for the change? So don't just change things because I feel like it. There has to be a reason. So it felt like, and again, like we were all probably little, so we don't remember precisely exactly what it was, but it feels like that. It felt like to me that they just wanted to make a change. And of course, you've got competitors out there. What are you trying to do when you have competitors? Stand apart from them. You want to be different from Pepsi, from RC Cola. And by the way, I didn't know they still sold RC Cola.
Yeah, that was my mom's favorite. Yeah.
I remember the commercial. I used to sing it when I was little. But I didn't even know. Something like, if it's not RC, it ain't good enough for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now
I want
back.
RC.
Yeah.
Something
Absolutely.
my RC. Something RC. If it's not RC, it ain't good enough for me. So I remember that. Because I was a TV addict and all I did was watch television. So, of course, I absorbed every commercial there was. But RC Cola, I thought they stopped making it. I pull up at Walgreens and I said, you don't say. So, well, clearly the apocalypse is coming if they're still selling RC Cola. Anyway, let's move on. Serena Wills is advising you to be nice to her today. I too am advising you very strongly, MC, to watch your words with
You
the Queen
see,
of Food
you see
Truckery.
how I got that memo, and I was already on it. Hey, Serena.
Serena, please use this while it lasts. We've also got the assistant food queen of food truckery here, Terry Johnson. She says, "Hey, MediaScope fan, what's up?" Yeah, Facebook is changing their settings, how you view pages. That is clear clownery. Absolutely. And in fact, that's what took me a long time, because the way it works is we broadcast to the MediaScope page, but I also share it on my personal pages. I'm sure many of you do. But in order to do that, I had to switch to the MediaScope page to be able. It was clear nonsense, and it's taking 10 years now for me to do what took a couple of minutes before. I'm not happy. I'm not pleased. That's
I
all.
wonder why are they changing it? That's ridiculous.
Well, Terry Johnson says she never got a notification. You see?
Wow.
I didn't either, because usually what I do is I wait for the notification and click on it so that I could go ahead and share. It never came. I went to the page so that I could see it.
I even got a notification from LinkedIn on my phone saying that you were live. So
see, and if you got a notification from LinkedIn, then now you
I
know.
know, right?
You know, because LinkedIn, we won't go there.
They are hot on the trails of Facebook, man. Hot on the trail.
They need to be hot on the trail of something. Can they be hot on the trail of search and discovery so people can actually discover we're there?
Yeah.
Jasmine Graham is here. Maybe she has the answers. What's up, Jasmine? Welcome. Folks, if you're just joining, this is MediaScope, all things media, tech, and pop culture. We usually start with a little bit of banter between MC Curtis. What's up, MC?
Hey, what's happening?
Mm-hmm. Great. And myself, I'm Tachi, media professor, filmmaker, media content producer, also a journalist. This is all things media, tech, and pop culture. We've got a bunch of, oh my gosh. Well, will you look who the cat dragged in? Christopher Milton. Look, back in the day I'm not even going to say back in the day, because there's no back in the day. I'm still young. He is, we went to different colleges, but I went to high school with his cousin. Christopher Milton, how the heck are you? All the way from New York City. Welcome. And he says that's how he knew I was on.
Yeah, notification.
Thank you, LinkedIn. I can't say thank you to everybody else, but you know what? Why don't we greet folks
Right
now? For all of you that are watching on Facebook, thank you so much for being here. We absolutely 100% unequivocally appreciate you being here. Thank you. Did I say LinkedIn? Was it LinkedIn? Facebook. Yeah. Okay, LinkedIn. For those of you watching us on Facebook, we're sorry you didn't get the notification, but the views expressed by Facebook are not necessarily the views of MediaScope or subsidiaries. That won't us. Okay, in vernacular. That won't us.
That won't us.
That won't us.
Ever again.
Exactly. Don't you ever. If you are watching us on YouTube, like my good friend Susan Engels and some others that'll join us later, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And by the way, if you're not following us on YouTube, you are missing out. There's a lot of stuff over there. Just go to the Dr. Tachi channel on YouTube, like and subscribe, leave comments. I'm trying to build the YouTube channel. You guys know I was slacking with it before on YouTube. But now I'm actually serious about it. So go ahead and follow on YouTube if you are not following. And that's the easiest way to watch, because you don't even have to log in. That's the cool thing with YouTube. You don't even have to log in. LinkedIn, what's up? To the few of you that watched on LinkedIn, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. I think I greeted you already, but you know what? Whatever. Greeting you twice is fine. But now, if you happen to be listening to us tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, on Gospel 107.1 FM in Nassau, Bahamas, and the Caribbean, we wish you a multitude. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Make it plain. Yes. Mm-hmm. We wish you a multitude of blessings. He let it play, ladies and gentlemen. You know that he was feeling it. He was over there shouting.
I was thinking about the addition of a tambourine. I was actually looking for a sound effect for tambourine.
Look, I've been looking for please, because I've been those of you that are in Club Quarantine with me, I'm forever looking for a tambourine emoji, and it never comes. I might just have to go and buy a real tambourine. So, yeah, you're right. We did grow up together. We did, kind of. But we were older, but I guess you could call that grow up together. Look at Chris Milton making up stuff. Anyway, Chris, I'm happy that you're here. Thank you.
That's funny. And you are just not in agreement with it, are you?
No, we didn't grow up together. I met you after, but I'll let you have that, Chris.
You know what?
I'll let you have that.
Chris, I believe you. I believe you. You know her. You guys grew up together.
Yeah. I'm sorry, MC. What was that? Are you disagreeing with me? I'm sorry. Please remember, all these folks are going to leave, and then you'll be left with me.
No, I just didn't. I felt the chill. I felt the chill. He said he grew up with you, and you were like,
these people.
I never.
Anyway, and you're still talking. Serena has beat the heat specials. Buy something cool, get one half off. It really is hot, people. I don't know where you are,
yeah, it is.
But most of the U.S. is quite hot. If you are, let me know if you're in Europe, if you're in Asia. Let me know the weather there. I should have asked, because we had UK and a bunch of people. Maybe Candy Sakai from Tokyo will join us. So you know what? We're fly, because we are international. We've got people on, well, every continent except Antarctica that watch. Seriously, honestly.
Hey, Serena.
I'm proud of us.
Serena, do you think I might get a drink so I can wet my tongue?
Look at Oliver Twist begging, please, sir, can I have some more? For those of you who don't know his history, he has been quite naughty when it comes to Serena. He has been saying all sorts of things, talking all sorts of junk, especially when she's not here. And it gets back to her. And last week he was like, yeah, we have a leak. No, the leak is she can easily watch the replay. So she knows what you're saying, acting like it was a conspiracy. It was not a conspiracy, sir. Anybody can easily find out. So she probably found out on her own that you were talking junk. Yes. And she banned you from the food truck, sir. Now, whose fault is that? So now you're humbly walking hunched shouldered over with your hands stretched out. Please, sir, could I have some more? Yeah. Well, I'll leave that up to Serena. Let's see. Okay. 20 years. Well, yeah, I guess since we were both 5. See, Christopher Milton is trying to hit this point home. Okay, Chris. Yes. Yes, Chris. We grew up together. I will let you have that, because yes.
Chris, I'm with you, man. I'm with you, but
I'll thank you to press buttons, MC Curtis. World Views is here, folks. If you are looking to take a great trip to Africa or to South America, definitely get on board with them. They also help with relocation services if you're looking to relocate to one of those areas. So check them out, follow them. They are absolutely amazing. I'm going to be doing some stuff coming up with them, and I can't wait to tell you all about it. Yay. By the way, thank you. I'm here all night, Dr. Tawana. So, by the way, do you know what next week is, MC?
I don't.
Folks, next week, and I hope that you hang your head in shame after I say this, MC, that you didn't know. Next week is the 7th anniversary of MediaScope.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah. Too late, MC. It's too late. I don't need your claps. It's too late. Too late.
Wow. So how long have we been working together with MediaScope? About 6 years now, right?
Yeah, about 6 years. And surprisingly, you're still around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So 6 years. Next week will be the 7th anniversary of MediaScope. And, as we do, So this year I didn't have the energy to do the, you know how we usually have 10 million people. I didn't have the energy to do that
Right,
this year.
right.
I'm like, the sewer line is trying to make my house explode. I didn't have the energy for
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, but this is what we are going to do. We're going to do a favorite moments show next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll talk about favorite moments. And if you want to join me on air, you can. You just have to request, because what I'm not finna do, as they say here, is go through and ask everybody. But we will have the Queen of Food Truckery and the Minister of Libation on, serving up a whole bunch of stuff. But if you want to come on camera and join us, you are welcome to. Just let me know. I will send you the link. But next week is 7 years. Thank you, Susan Engels, for the clapping. Thank you for the congrats, Worldview. Serena says, okay, one for now, but you must prove yourself, MC.
Thank you, Serena.
You see that, you hear the level of humility. This is going to be his ASMR channel, people. All food sounds. Serena can't wait for the anniversary show. I can't either. It's going to be really interesting to hear the interaction between you and a one MC Curtis.
We're friends. We're friends now.
Could I have the intro to the media segment, please? All right. Well, let me get photo one, please. We have a lot to talk about. Look, we have a whole Netflix slate. We've got about 4 stories that are all Netflix related. So hold on to your Netflix and chill. Let's talk. Thank you, Terry, for saying congrats. It's 7 years, but there's a lot of us. Ross Brand is also 7 years as well. Mario Armstrong, for the stuff he's doing, it's also, he's been doing it before, but in terms of live, us going live, 7 years as well. Dr. Vibe, 7 years as well. So there's maybe one year we'll all do something together.
Yeah, that would be cool, actually. Sounds like a great idea.
It would be, and it also sounds like that I would have to plan it, so it will not happen.
Right,
Let's
right.
talk. Let's talk Netflix, ladies and gentlemen. Lots going on in the world of Netflix. I talked a little bit about this on IG Live. We're going to flush it out even more here. So they just had their earnings call, their global earnings call yesterday. And by the way, I keep mentioning this. If you have Netflix stock, you're actually allowed to be on that call. I just always forget. So but pay attention, because there are some things that you may want to know about. So wherever you have stock, you're a shareholder, you're allowed to be on the call. So for Q2 of this year, once again, they reported steep subscription losses. They were down by 1 million subscribers around the world, and 1.3 million in the US and Canadian market. So total around the world is 1 million, but down by 1.3 in the US and Canadian markets. And that's most of their market share, the US and Canada.
Wow.
But the good news is there's a bright spot. They forecasted that they were going to be down by 2 million subscriptions. Well, this whole thing, this Netflix thing, it's not to this point, but remember the old school televisions, the ones when the dials fell off, you use a pair of pliers to
Right.
change the channel?
Right. Yeah.
You know how you had the rabbit ears, the antenna, and you would have to stand a certain way for no, and then it would be right there. And that's how you would get the reception for that channel. This is what Netflix is doing. They're doing this teetering right there. And they're stuck there for a moment. They were expecting 2 million subscriptions. Okay, it's only 1 million.
Jeez.
So I don't know what they did, how they MacGyvered this together with popsicle sticks and paper clips, but they did. So that actually encouraged investors. The company's stock was trading up at 5.7%. just yesterday, actually. And in a letter to its shareholders, they said also slightly delayed the launch of the ad-supported tier. Now, remember, we talked about this. I announced that they were going to do an ad-supported tier. We all talked about it. We lamented it or whatever. And we praised it. And I said that they were going to do it sooner than what they initially thought, that it was going to be by the end of this year. Well, no, now it's going to be early 2023. More flip-flopping than Old Navy flip-flops. I'm like, you said 2023. Then you said, no, 2022. Now you said 2023.
Why is the delay? Why is there a delay in this?
I don't know why. I haven't been able to find exactly what the delay is. But so let's talk about what their subscriptions are now. 220 million, down from 221.64 million. So they lost about a million subscriptions. I really do want for them to win. This was not my plan for you, Netflix. I had great plans for you. When I saw you growing up and smashing Blockbuster, I had plans, great plans for you. You, on the other hand, wanted to go your own way.
Yes.
All I can do is wish you well. But, I still have a little bit of hope. I still carry a torch for Netflix. I don't know if you do, but I do.
I like Netflix, but do you think they're going to survive though?
They'll survive, but they're realizing now that they won't if they don't make some changes. So there are a couple of things that they did. Acquisition. Why did I forget the name? They just bought an animation studio. They acquired an animation studio, and I am forgetting the name of it now. It will come back to me. Susan Engel says, flip-flopping like a trout out of the water. Exactamundo. Welcome, Nadine. She says, hey, welcome, and thanks for the congrats. So next week, Serena's going to have some special treats for us. I'm excited. I cannot wait. All right. So let me take that off. Okay. So yeah, this flip-flopping, I don't know what's happening, but that's news right now. They had their earnings call yesterday. They are down by about 1 million subscriptions, but investor confidence is they're slightly confident because they were trading up by 5.7%, and they did better than expected. They were expected to lose 2 million. I think maybe this is the way to go. Overestimate what your losses are going to be, so people are pleasantly surprised when it's not that much.
Absolutely.
That's what I would do. And I think that's what they're going to continue to do from now on. Smart.
Absolutely. Smart. Right.
Don't try to make yourself better by having it low and then make investors annoyed by having it be higher than expected. See, people are very simple. That's all they want. So let's keep going. We're going to talk about story 2, which is still Netflix. Even though, my friends, they're down by 1 million subscribers, they're still the top viewed amongst broadcasters in the 2021-2022 season. So they still have viewers. Let me tell you how many. Viewers spent 1.3 trillion minutes. Did you hear what I said, MC? 1.3 trillion minutes watching Netflix shows last season, nearly matching the top 2 broadcast networks. So and then you could point it. Well, let's talk about some of the shows that were on there. Bridgerton, Stranger Things, Squid Game. Those 3 alone probably had the trillion view. So if you think about it, they had a lot of hits. They had a lot of bangers that led to that. But again, if we think about it, they are going to have to continue that trajectory of heavy hitting things. They're shooting season 3 of Bridgerton right now. So they have been greenlit for season 3. They're shooting season 3 right now. With Stranger Things is ending. After this season, they're gone. Squid Game has been greenlit or green lighted for a season 2. So we will see Squid Game again. But you're going to have to keep bringing the content if you want to maintain that spot. I'm telling you, Disney Plus is on trying to be on your back. All of these people would love to unseat you. So the data shows that Netflix is actually by far the most popular viewing platform in the US television landscape. We're not talking globally, we're talking US only. So, according to TV Technology, quote, in the US, which is one of the most competitive markets in the world, we drew more TV viewing time than any other outlet during the 2021-2022 season, nearly matching the combined total of the two most watched networks, the letter to shareholders said. And as Nielsen will announce tomorrow, our share of the US TV viewing reached an all-time high of 7.7% in June, versus 6.6 in June of last year for them, which is interesting because that was still in the thick of the pandemic. So interesting. I'm always looking at why this is. What changed? What program? What did they do? What market conditions were around that caused that to happen?
This is interesting because I'm thinking the economy has, because, with the war in, with the Ukraine, with Russia, that probably has impacted, not just the war, but the economy as a whole has impacted. People look, or, just checking their lists and say, you know what, I can probably do away with Netflix. I can get rid of Disney. I can get rid of all these different channels that, really kind of just help to spike that cable bill up,
Exactly. And you were speaking of the war in Ukraine. Netflix exited Russia. So I don't know if they're counting those numbers as well, but those were subscriptions to Netflix. They left Russia because of the invasion of Ukraine. And so I'm not sure whether or not those numbers are counted. That would be interesting to see. I'll do some research to see if those numbers are amongst that, but that would definitely have an effect as well. So the top two broadcast, Netflix beat in terms of the share of US TV viewing, CBS and NBC. CBS has it like that? What shows are on CBS that people are watching like that? The Price is Right?
Bob Hope Classics.
A new car! What happened?
I said the reruns of Bob Hope Classics.
Is that on CBS?
Look,
I can't even pick up CBS, so I don't even... In my own market, I can't pick it up on the antenna. I don't know what's going on. And I actually did a faculty fellowship at the local CBS station here, although it did take me like a long time to drive there. So it's like a good hour and something away. But still, I should be able to pick up the signal. Anyway.
Yeah, interesting.
So Apple is all the way at the bottom. I should have given you this picture as well so people could see it's all the way at the bottom. But that's what's happening, folks, with Netflix. Even though all that other bad news, they lost subscriptions, they're still the most watched for content on, quote, television, beating out CBS and NBC. And, of course, ABC. And Disney Plus.
So do you think maybe it also contributes to that Netflix doesn't want to spend the money that they were spending at one time for different shows, or you've kind of maybe
they can't spend the money. They have had losses, so they have cut back. In addition to, remember, they cut back all that staff at Netflix, and they also, in addition to that, also cut back on the spending. What was it? Okay. Probably 3 years ago now, they said they were because it was before the pandemic, they were putting 15, was it 8 and then 7? Yeah. So 15 billion in original content. So they rolled all of that back, cut staff.
Wow.
And they're adding the subscription model. All of that really signals that there's some financial stuff going on, because Ted Sarandos was vehemently against, who's the CEO of Netflix.
Right.
Vehemently against advertising on Netflix. Now it's like, well, I guess we'll go on and advertise.
Yeah.
Humbled like humble pie.
Right.
He had a good slice of humble pie for dessert.
Jeez.
Well, speaking of humble pie, let's humble ourselves and go to the room and see. So Netflix apparently has her Susan Engel's husband, and they have a lot of other people too. And Carlos Phoenix is here, one of our favorites. He says, "Good morning and congrats." Good morning to you, sir, and congrats. And Susan liked Frankie and Grace. Now, Frankie and Grace, that's a good show. This season that is on Netflix now is the final season. That was a good show, starring Jane Fonda and why can't I remember her name? You know who I'm talking about. Oh, Lily Tomlin. There we go. Because I was just thinking about when I was little, Lily Tomlin would be sitting. She played this child in the big chair on Sesame Street. Do you remember that?
I do, but I didn't know it was Lily Tomlin.
Yeah, it was Lily Tomlin.
Yeah. Interesting.
Trust me, I'm a TV addict. I remember all these things.
Yeah, I trust you.
And she used to say, "And that's the truth." Remember? She always used to do
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that was her. Interesting.
that was Lily Tomlin. Yeah. So the Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin starred in Frankie and Grace. Really good show. Who was throwing shade? Me? I never shade. Never do I throw shade. Yes, Edith Ann, she plays. Thank you. Lily, thank you. That was her name. Edith Ann on Sesame. I didn't remember her name, but I remembered the character, Edith Ann. Now, that's not a child's name, but it is what it is. At some point, every Edith Ann was a child. So,
Right.
every Ruth was a child. Every Gladys was a child. Every Mortimer was a child.
Right.
So, in any case, yeah, absolutely. That was Worldview says that they loved that show. Absolutely great show. All right, so we're going to keep going. We have one more thing we've got to talk about Netflix before we go on. Password sharing. They rolled back. They kind of walked back a little bit. Remember, I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. They walked it back a little bit. It's going to take longer than what they anticipated. Well, they are now expanding to different, more markets in Latin America for this password sharing test that they're doing. And they are charging for additional, quote, homes. So they've introduced a new way that people can share accounts and hence a new way to curb password sharing, so they think. They're doing this in 5 Latin American countries. I'm just saying, this is what they think. Anytime somebody comes up with a roadblock, somebody comes through with a wrecking ball to knock it down. I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
So if you're a user in Argentina, Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Guatemala, or Honduras, you will have to pay extra for homes if you want access to streaming the service outside of your primary residence longer than a short vacation. How dare you, Netflix? Not everybody stays in their home. Look, and especially when we talk about people in Latin America, there are a lot of people that live in Latin America that spend a significant amount of time in other countries. So I'm wondering how this is going to. They may spend 6 months here, 6 months there. Are you wanting me to get 2 subscriptions? Not today. So subscribers can watch Netflix on their phones or tablets anytime, as much as you want, even when you're traveling or visiting another place. But if you want to stream it on a TV, you can only access Netflix at no additional charge for 2 weeks, people, just 2 weeks while away from your primary residence. I don't like this at all. Is anybody else disturbed by this? This is a very American thing to do. And I'm saying it because many Americans don't tend to travel very far. I mean, we travel, but away for vacation. More and more Americans, I say, are traveling and are moving abroad, spending time here and time in another country. But on the whole, the average American is not doing that. So you're thinking with an American viewpoint when you do that. Why would you test that model in Latin America where there are many people who travel? And I'm not saying just to the US, but to other countries in South America. I don't. Anyway. So furthermore, you can only stream from one particular for free from one particular location one time. So after those 2 weeks are up, or if you go back to a location where you previously maxed out the free access to the service, Netflix will ask you if you want to add a home for an additional fee per month. This deserves something to drink. I know.
So, question. So could you possibly sign out of it? So let's just say someone in Latin America, they're traveling outside of their primary resident, and they sign into Netflix, and then they sign out of it. So does your 2 weeks? I mean, so it has to be total 2
But then
weeks
you'd have to
total.
sign back in again.
Yeah. So I'm
See,
just
and
kind
then
of curious.
remember, it's not just by password. They're also using IP addresses. They're also using
Oh,
device IDs and
gotcha.
account activity to detect. You thought they were going to leave you to your own devices, sir?
Right. Okay.
Oliver Twist, you're way too trusting.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, no. So they're pulling out all the stops,
Mm,
all the devices to make sure that they can detect what devices you are
Right.
actually using. So they're advising people to make sure that their devices are using the same internet connection and aren't using a VPN or proxy service in case its system is insisting that the viewer is outside their primary residence, which they aren't. So that's another thing. Somebody may just easily be able to use a VPN to bypass that. I don't know.
Absolutely, Tati.
All I know is like I'm not liking this. It doesn't have a very international flavor or international feel, and it feels kind of out of touch.
Well,
But that's just me.
they do have roaming VPNs as well, so you can.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, but maybe they got to figure it out. So
I doubt that. Where there's a will, there's a way. I'm telling you. Anyway. Susan Engels is enjoying herself. Well, let's keep going. That was our last Netflix story. We have a few other stories before we let you go. Could I have Photo 5, please, off of Netflix? And we're going to talk a little bit about the Powerpuff Girls. Did you watch the Powerpuff Girls ever, MC?
I did. It wasn't one of my favorites, but I did. Yeah, I did a little bit.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I don't know. I had some friends when I was in college that really loved the Powerpuff Girls. So they're kind of cool. You know, they look like dolls, like little dolls. So in any case, the Powerpuff Girls, they're getting a reboot this time by the original creator. For those of you that are interested, if you grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, you'll remember the good old days of the Cartoon Network. The Cartoon Network was good in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yes, it was.
It was good. It was really good.
Stuff. I'd sit up there and watch cartoons. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Space Goes Coast to Coast.
Yes. Absolutely. Good stuff.
They had some good stuff on the Cartoon Network back then. Adult Swim was Cartoon Network too.
Mm-hmm.
So they had some good stuff. So now Craig McCracken, who is the brains behind the Powerpuff Girls and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, has announced that the two projects are being rebooted for now. For the 21st century, both are currently in production or in the works at Hanna-Barbera Studios in Europe. And this is in collaboration with Warner Brothers Animation and Cartoon Network Studios. And they said this is an opportunity that they could not pass up. So if you are a Powerpuff Girls fan, know that it is being rebooted. And, you know, usually I'm with the reboots, but I can kind of see this working. You know, I don't know, for animation, it feels different. As long as you keep the original animation, don't try and do this computer animated. You know what I'm saying? It just...
Right. I do.
It changes the look and feel of things when you do that. That's why I can't do the new Scooby Doo's.
Yeah, I'm just glad it was. I'm just glad the reboot is not a movie.
Oh boy.
You know.
Well, if it was
Yes.
a they've done I think a couple of Powerpuff Girls movies, so
Yeah,
I'd
have
be
they?
down for that.
Okay.
So I'm excited. If for those of you that are excited, let me know if you're excited about the Powerpuff Girls because I actually like them. All right, so let's go on to photo 6, please. Let's talk about our friend that likes to complain, but is a great filmmaker. This man could complain. I'm telling you, there's always something wrong when it comes to the Oscars, the Academy, always something wrong. But he's still a brilliant filmmaker. Steven Spielberg has shot his first ever music video with only an iPhone. So
Hmm.
I'm very surprised because he to
Really?
me seems like a snob, a production snob. So the fact that it took you to 2022 to do that, it's not that he's necessarily a futurist. Great filmmaker, but I don't see him as seeing the future of things because he's
Interesting.
constantly saying no and wants stuff to stay as it is. So I'm
Does he actually
surprised.
does he actually have a title for this movie, or is a feature film?
So no, it's a music video.
Music. I'm sorry. Does he have a?
So it is she shot a 3-minute shot of what is it called? Using just an iPhone of Marcus Mumford. I don't know who that is.
Oh, okay.
So it was a one-shot music video. Now this is something we did in film school. We had exercises. It was a continuity exercise. You had to shoot the entire. You couldn't stop the camera. You had to shoot the entire thing in one shot, which means
Hmm.
you have to practice before you actually shoot. You have to do a lot of blocking to make sure everything is where it's supposed to do because you're not supposed to cut at all. So it was a
Hmm.
one shot exercise. I like
Interesting.
that. Very film school. Very film school. I like that a lot. So this happened on July 3rd in a high school gym in New York. And I'm surprised that this is his first music video ever.
Wow.
Hmm. It was shot in black and white, made especially for Marcus Mumford's newest single, Cannibal. Okay.
As the times are a little
Interesting.
tough now, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, so what I want you to do is if you go to YouTube, you can look up Mumfus, Marcus Mumford, and you can watch the official video yourself and see how well you think he did. You know, we don't want to get dinged, so we won't play it here. But take a
Yeah,
look
I
at
want to
it
see it.
and let us know what you think, huh?
Yeah, I'm
You
saying
want
I
to
want
see
to
it?
see that. Yeah, I have to
Okay,
look at that.
I'll make sure that I send it to you. So
Right.
I'll make sure I send it to you. Let's keep going because time is running out. This should be photo 6, correct?
This is 406 now.
Yeah, coming up. The next one is photo 6.
No, this is 406 now.
This is photo 6 now. So the next one is photo 7. All right.
Okay.
Well, actually, can we get the intro to the tech segment, please? Let's talk a little bit about Uber. Has agreed to pay up to 2.2 million for penalizing passengers with physical disabilities. Can we one day
Oh
we're
my
just going to do
goodness.
right? Let me tell you a little bit about what happened. So apparently they were sued, Uber, and they finally settled for 2.2 million in damages. So this began last year when the U.S. Department of Justice actually filed a lawsuit against Uber for discriminating against disabled passengers. So according to the complaint, this is what happened. Uber charged disabled passengers who needed extra time beyond the stipulated wait time to get into vehicles, even though there were clear mobility issues. So So the wait time was implemented in 2016, excuse me, to prevent there was oversight with this stipulation when it came to passengers with physical disabilities. So those passengers that went over there a lot of time because of difficulties were penalized, and as a result, you then are paying more than other passengers. So you to change this.
Wow.
So here's the big thing: is that it violates the Americans with Disabilities Act, and it also violates the Human Decency Act. What that just makes
Right.
absolutely no sense. Uber now claims that
Jeez.
there are no additional fees for people who select the wheelchair accessible option or Uber Assist. But sometimes you are just trying to get your Uber and get there, and you're not. They may not know that that's the thing. So if
Well,
they've called for a regular ride, are they supposed to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I need to call, start over because I need to use Uber Assist"? No, they're going to get in the regular Uber, and then there should be some way to stop that from happening if you see that your passenger has a physical disability. So this minimum is a minimum of 2.2 million will be paid out to passengers who believe they were treated unjustly by Uber's system. Over 1,000 riders have filed complaints against Uber, and they're going to receive 1.7 million, excuse me, while the riders who have received unfair treatment will receive 500,000. And then more than 65,000 customers will receive credits that will double the wait time fees that they were charged. And a waiver was also introduced for people to receive refunds if they were charged. It seems to me like there's a very simple way to avoid all of this. And my thing is, once you started getting complaints, you should have the
yeah,
Justice Department had to sue you.
that just makes so much sense.
So Uber, for even getting it to the point where you had to settle and the Justice Department had to sue you so that you could do the right and decent thing, in the words of Huggy Lowdown, you are the Bama of the week. Week.
absolutely, absolutely. I was thinking the same thing.
Despicable. We didn't even have, I wasn't even thinking about that, but this is a perfect scenario.
Really,
Guess
it
what?
really
We're going
is.
to move on. And guess what? 1.1 million isn't enough for the humiliation of that if you think about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's absolutely humiliating. How dare you, Uber? Shame on you, Uber. And my thing is, you only rectified it because you got caught.
Exactly.
Let's go to photo 8, please. Well, today in lawsuits, speaking of which, a company called Meta is suing the company formerly known as Facebook, which is now Meta, for naming itself Meta. So Meta is suing Meta for naming themselves Meta. Now, if you remember, Facebook changed their name to Meta in October, and there were some concerns that the company was planning to dominate the metaverse. I wouldn't worry about that, ladies and gentlemen, but that they were planning to do that. But now there's a party that is going public. Remember, I talked about this before. There was another company with the
Yeah.
same name that was planning to do this. Well, this company is an installation art company called Meta, or Meta.is. And they announced just yesterday that they will be suing Meta or Facebook or whatever you want to call them for trademark violation, alleging that Zuckerberg's name change violated the smaller company's established brand. So this is what they say on the company's website. On October 28, 2021, Facebook seized our Meta mark and name, which we put our blood, sweat, and tears into building over 12 years. Today, after 8 months of trying to negotiate with Facebook in good faith to no avail, we were left with no choice but to file a lawsuit against them. Okay, so here's the thing. They tried to negotiate with you.
Jeez.
You were like, whatever. Now you're getting sued.
Mm.
So
I wonder.
here's the thing. Much of this case, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say. I
Go ahead.
wonder how are they going to get out of this one, being that this other company was already named Meta. There's a infringement on their their name in itself. And lawfully they're not in a they're out of order.
Right. So here's the thing. Excuse me. It's not like you can't have two companies named Meta. You can. It's just depending on whether or not there would be confusion for consumers if two companies were named the same thing, right? So most of this is because of privacy scandals. So again, if Meta, the larger company, that's the thing. If one company does something and there's all these privacy scandals, the smaller company named Meta, because people just see the name. So that's really what Meta, the smaller Meta, is arguing, that they have made it impossible to share the name. It says Meta can no longer provide goods and services under the Meta mark because consumers are likely to mistakenly believe that Meta's goods and services emanate from Facebook, and that Meta is associated with the toxicity and that is inextricably linked to Facebook. And that's the thing. By taking that name, you've now made it difficult for this company, who's had the name for 12 years, by the way, to function.
Why don't they call themselves Meta Space? What about that? That's a good name, Meta Space.
Too close to MySpace.
Oh, wow. Okay, didn't think about that one. Right.
But when has that ever stopped them before? Anyway, here's the thing. Meta does hold the smaller Meta holds a valid trademark for the name, but they could still be facing an uphill battle in court because of the broad range of trademark applications Facebook has made since the name change became official, including separate marks for messaging, social networks, and financial services. There are also a number of trademarks claiming the Meta name for non-tech products, including hard seltzer and manufacturer of prosthetic limbs. Interesting. So we'll see. I will keep you updated as this story develops. Let's take some commentary, shall we? Am I frozen?
It's kind of it's
MC,
kind of
can you hear
choppy.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's kind of choppy.
Yeah, you know what? There's something going on with Chrome today. I noticed that. Weird. So I apologize, folks, for the choppiness. Something is happening with Chrome today. Yeah. So Jasmine says, you know what? If you can hear me, I'm going to go out and come back. All right.
Okay. I'll go ahead and put the.
All right. Put up a show card.
All right.
I'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah, Close the doors, walk across the corridor. We got something to show you. Media is our repertoire. Fed up with the same news, no channel to use. Cruise control mentalities, here we offer you. We gon' show you a new way. The content, it never strays from positive and uplifting. Once a week, the scope gifted. With the presence of your eyes, what a distraction. Beautiful to soul, especially in action. This year, not ration. Came in abundance. Films like in Sundance, tech like the pop top or touch your queen. You are Curtis, a beast heart. You must carry, cause MCs they all vary and seldom do what they motivate. World full of hate, we serve the hope on a plate across different platforms. Let's hear a buffet, hydration like Boucher. Don't focus on a day, we always here for you. MediaScope when you emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, go make them yours. What we run is Olympic, now your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. MediaScope when you emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, go make them yours. What we run is Olympic, now your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. Now you award winning with no award tours. This culture meets the art, podcast with the heart and essence of the growth. The power's in the people. Without you, we ain't equal. What we lack is ego. We're back now, so here we go. Run the show like Arsenio. Episodic.
Okay. Am I back?
You're back. I'm sorry. Messed it up. Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
Still trying.
All right. There's nothing I can do about that now. I think it's a Chrome thing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So, all right. Well, it looks like it's clearing up a little bit. Thank you very much, tech team, for nothing. Thanks for absolutely nothing, folks. If you are just joining, welcome to the fold. This is MediaScope, all things media, tech, and pop culture. My name is Tachi. I am a media professor, filmmaker, media content producer, also a journalist. It's you all, myself, and MC Curtis, the person who runs everything behind the red curtain. I don't know why it's a red curtain. It just is. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. Everything's good.
Okay, great. Okay. All right. So you know what? Let's do one more story and then we're going to vamoose because it seems that the social media gods are not wanting to cooperate with us today. So we're going to give you one last story and then we are going to vamoose. That's not the word, but you know. Let me have could I have the Bugatti photo? You know which one I'm talking about?
I do. Here you go.
The car.
Yep. It's up.
Okay, good. You know you have to tell me because I couldn't see it, but you know. Thank you for nothing. Anyway, so MC, I have a question for you. How much would you pay for a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
Or what's the most you would pay for a cup of coffee?
A cup of coffee?
Yes. Or sorry, an espresso. Not just a cup of coffee, but an espresso.
Maybe $5, $6, maybe.
Okay, so $6. Let's say that. You all in the audience, what would you spend? What is the most you would spend for an espresso? Pretend you drink espresso, right? Or if you don't, maybe you just drink a regular roast coffee. How much would you pay for a cup of coffee or a coffee drink?
Don't tell me they're about to be the Bamas of the week.
Well, you tell me.
Jeez.
Let's look and see. We have a couple of comments. If it would. Okay, Jasmine Graham says $5. Dr. Tawana says, so Jasmine is at $5. Dr. Tawana is at $10 at the most. Okay. All right. And Curtis said $6. Now, I'm not a coffee drinker, but we do understand so if I was a coffee, I drink tea, right? So one of my favorite drinks is a chai. So when people go to coffee houses, I always order a chai because I'm not a coffee drinker. So the most I would pay for a chai tea latte would be like, okay, I'll give you $6. I don't want to, but if it's really good, fine. I understand the craft. Well, for those of you, all you have to do is listen, hear the name Bugatti, and you'll know. So Bugatti has opened a cafe, and they're fueling drivers up with $60 espressos in carbon fiber cups. That was a heavy sigh, MC. That was a heavy sigh. So it is Bugatti has its own espresso bar called Ettores Espresso Bar. It's open to the public for the first time in their London store, named after the luxury automaker's founder, Ettore Bugatti. And they're offering up a $59, which is a 50-pound shot of espresso. Now, before we say $59, $60 for espresso, that's probably because the cup that it's served in comes in a carbon fiber espresso cup, and that is the same stuff that Bugattis are made out of, carbon fiber. So if you purchase the Ettore shot, you will be granted full access to the showroom lounge. You'll get to see the Bugatti display up close. You get to relax in armchairs made from the same leather and blue tinted carbon fiber that are in the vehicle. There are also art installations and sculptures reflecting the company's history and heritage, designed to, quote, convey a shared passion for the Bugatti brand and everything it stands for. You also, well, here's the thing. You may not be able to get a car, but the showroom has a variety of things that you can purchase, ranging from baseball caps to pens, and they all make beautiful souvenirs. Does carbon fiber cost that much? Somebody tell me, please.
I have no idea. Jeez.
I'm not buying the carbon fiber cup thing. I'm not buying that. I think there are people who just want the experience and to be able to say, I spent $60 for a cup of coffee and are doing it. I don't buy that the carbon fiber cup is making it that expensive. Excuse me. I don't buy that at all.
Yeah, I couldn't see myself paying $60 for a cup of coffee in a styrofoam cup. So, forget about it.
Because here's the thing, there are carbon fiber, talking about equipment, there are carbon fiber tripods for cameras that are supposed to be lightweight. And you could pick them up for like less than $200, right? But we're talking a whole tripod, a mechanism that has use. This small cup, an espresso, you want me to pay? That's why I don't buy it, because there are carbon fibers used for other things. I need more details, Bugatti, on this. I also need to be able to come and check it out for myself. So please contact me on Instagram, because I'll come out for the experience. I will.
Yeah.
Not him. Jasmine Graham says nope. Also, Nadine says narrow fiddles while Rome burns. Exactly. Right? Absolutely. And Nadine says they can stick the carbon fiber, carbon fiber can basically go away.
Yeah, I'm with Nadine. I was that's how I felt. She said it best.
I'm not buying this, but there are people who want that particular experience. For some people, $60 is not going to break the bank. For some people, $60, that's like a month's worth of groceries.
Jeez, a lot of ramen noodles.
That's all you eat?
I'm
going to need you to find some other grocery stores where ramen noodles is the only thing you can afford.
Jeez.
Anyway. All right, well, that's it. Speaking of ramen noodles, it has nothing to do with anything, but this is it. let's all exit, shall we? Thank you all so much for being here. It is now dinner time for many of you, and I'm going to let you get to it. It was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for being here. I do have other stories that I'm going to post on my social media, so look out for those. MC, any last thoughts?
No, good show. Good show.
Good show for you
Hey,
too. Love your food.
thanks for that
What
drink,
happened?
Serena. Still around. Thanks for that drink, Serena. If you're still around, appreciate you. We'll see you next week.
Let's just exit stage left.
See, I'm
Let's just
sincere.
exit stage left.
Yeah, Close the doors, walk across the corridor. We got something to show you.